ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Minor League Esports. We're here with the second half of your Saturday night action. After a couple of action-packed games, we are once again back, and I am Squid, bit of a new face for tonight's broadcast, and of course a big shout out to our prior casters. Some great matches, but I can't do it all alone. Before we get into things in Minor League Esports presented by APM Music, I do want to intro Captain Atsoka. Welcome to the broadcast, man. It has... Actually, we've never casted before, so I'm glad to have you in the booth with me tonight. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good, if I do say so myself. Now, I have been on MLE before, but never in this booth here with you. And I do have to say, Squid, it is an absolute honor to share the booth with you here tonight. And I cannot wait to get started to watch this game between the Ducks and the Knights, two teams that are going to go head-to-head very shortly. And I honestly could not be more hype. I mean, I could, but I don't want to bust your eardrums wide open. So let's get this one going.
Yeah, that's very considerate of you. I have to say, thanks much for that. I appreciate that you're going to keep yourself contained for this series. But as you mentioned, Knights and Ducks, we're here in the Master League as well. So if you haven't quite been satisfied with the action so far, we've got just the thing in store for you. And these two teams coming up head-to-head here. 2-3 in series are the Knights, but the Ducks sitting at 0-5. Not exactly the place that you want to be here, but of course there is still some time left in the season, so starting off here in Week 5 should, hopefully, if they can get this win, give them a little bit of an advantage. And of course the Knights want to get back into the playoff conversation as a whole. So a win here for both these teams is going to be pretty important.
Yeah, well, it's time that both of them lay it down on the field. Now, like you said, if you're on the Ducks side, this win might be a little bit more important for you because of how they're sitting right now in the standings. But from what I have heard previously about the MLE, every game counts. So it doesn't really matter necessarily if you go down. You just want to try and win as many games as you can. And we are underway, and already it's going to be a nice dribble there by Prosperity 2K, who's going to get his team on the board first.
And the Knights, as we mentioned, it will be an all-important win to get them back in the playoff conversation, and I guess that's a good way to start things underneath the first man. Prosperity 2K, as you mentioned, going to be picking up the first one right out of the gate. Only 5 seconds off the block, and let's see if they can do more damage here.
Yeah, already it's starting to look like the Knights may be going duck hunting a little early. 1-0, barely 10 seconds gone, and Prosperity 2K out in the middle again is met by Eclipse with a banger off the backboard, but Barry Allen in a pinch off of Prosperity. Not quite on target, but still in the danger.
Yeah, for the Ducks, that was a fearful ball to look on the backside of. That's not necessarily the greatest touch here. Prosperity going to try and pick that one up, looking for an extra touch on top of it. Will be sent away. Let's get onto the backboard here. Barry Allen going to try to return this to the zone. You can see the Knights trying to put the vice grip on early here, and that's a nice dunk. Is it on target? No, not quite. Just wide of the net. And the Ducks get away with that one, but they're kind of in a bad spot here, no lie.
It seems like they've been in a bad spot for the last few seconds. Like, coming from the Knights side, they have just been dominating the backboards, constantly hitting the backboard over and over and over again. Just creating that constant pressure, keeping the Ducks on their back heels, or I guess on their web in their scenario. But it's going to be a nice touch there. Sending it back to Barry Allen. Barry Allen not going to follow that one up, and it's going to be a clear and a save for Swattings. He's going to send this one back down into the middle. Eclipse now is going to get absolutely annihilated, open it up away for Barry Allen, and that's a shot on net, and it goes right in.
And not only do the Knights take away the possession here for the Ducks, but they also give away for Barry Allen to blaze a trail right down the middle here in Swattings. Not much that he can really do in that situation. Difficult spot to be in, but I guess it's just a message for the Ducks. If you try to control it slow while somebody's still in your back half, you're going to get punished.
Yeah, looking like all momentum is in favor of the Knights, and almost on target again. Barry Allen is going to center this ball, but gets annihilated for it. Prosperity taking absolute control. Nobody's home, and that's going to be a 3-0 lead in favor of the Knights.
And the Ducks right now, they are looking for a solution, and they thought that they found one with Swattings going for a demo. He found Barry Allen, and then, surprise, the ball's in the back of your own net anyways. That might have caused a little bit of confusion there, but Eclipse knows exactly what happened. Hopefully the Eclipse can, the Ducks can get that together. Goodness me. And hopefully they can organize a counterattack, as it looks like they'll get one back here. Eclipse receives from the Swattings, and they finally get something on the board.
If there's anything I know about the Ducks, it's the fact that they are mighty, and they are a second half team, as they are going to be coming back now, finally getting on the board. and reducing that deficit to only 2, and that's where you want to be. Everybody in Rocket League always feels a little more comfortable being within that 2-goal deficit. Now it's going to be taking control from Prosperity. You know, we've already seen how dangerous Prosperity is, and I like that Barry Allen leaves Prosperity a little bit of room so that way he can use his mechanics and get those go-ahead goals. Right now, Prosperity has 2 goals coming off the 2 passes from Barry Allen, and Prosperity with a nice flick coming off the backboard. But it could be no good as this goes out into the side.
Yeah, a good try at that read. Went for the bump as well. But unfortunately, Barry Allen couldn't turn it in. In any case, the Knights have had some pretty phenomenal spacing. As you mentioned, Barry Allen was giving way to Prosperity for a good while there. While he had that 1v1 possession. Didn't quite work out for them, but fortunately with 2 goals up, they don't really have to be particularly aggressive. Going to bring this one back into their own half. 2 minutes and 30 on the clock now. We're saying goodbye to the first half. Barry Allen unfortunately says goodbye to that ball. This could turn into a shot opportunity if they're not careful. But Prosperity is there to cut it out. Eclipse, nice cutoff against Barry Allen to refute that shot chance.
Prosperity now going off the backboard, but it's Eclipse who gets the wall pinch. Barry Allen trying to backtrack as fast as Barry Allen can, and this one is going to go out into the side. No one there for the follow-up, and we're going back into the corner. Still looking like the Knights have the majority of the control in this match. Prosperity showing off those mechanical skills, but Eclipse is not impressed. A nice center touch there, hitting off the crossbar, and it's no good.
And Swatting's not able to finish it off, looking for that angle, but could not find it. As you said, the Knights, they've been looking pretty good so far this game, but the Ducks are certainly making a case for themselves. They might have another chance here. That touch from Eclipse, unfortunately, going to be a little wide of the net and away from their own players, but still, they've been getting a lot more aggressive with the way that they're playing this ball. Their spacing has been improved majorly from when we saw that first goal.
Ducks looking a little bit kind of awkward on that back wall. They were both in the same place in the same time, which could spell danger, so maybe they need to implement a little bit more spacing. Barry Allen now going off the side wall, trying to get the 50-50 for Eclipse, but Eclipse gets absolutely annihilated straight to the Shadow Realm, but it's okay because Swattings is there to put the team on his back and bring his team within 1.
And I really like his patience from Swattings as well, pushing up just close enough where he can make that play, but also not in the spot where he'd be overcommitting against that ball. Waited until he knew he had the shot chance, and then took the opportunity to slam it home. Very well executed there. He's gonna have to execute again here as Barry Allen is already pushing up on the faceoff. A nice second touch there. Gets that dunk away. 1 minute remains, but the Ducks have been playing such a good game of Rocket League here in the second half.
Yeah, the Ducks have definitely been the comeback kids of this game number 1, as the Knights had the first 3 unanswered goals. But now if the Ducks can get this last goal, it will be 3 unanswered right back. But Barry Allen makes it back in time, and another center touch coming from Eclipse as Barry Allen now takes control, trying to keep the ball away from Eclipse, but finds Swatting instead. Prosperity on his back wheels is able to get in the way and stall out just a little longer as we now go under 30 seconds.
The Ducks, ooh, great touch there from Eclipse, looking for the pump as well, and Swattings was ready. But Barry Allen wisely is able to avoid it off the back wall now towards center. There's Prosperity, and they're going to try and put this one away 15 seconds before regulation ends.
I see good control and awareness from Barry Allen. Nothing fancy, nothing trying to, put himself too far out there. That was just simple textbook Rocket League, and I love seeing this, especially in twos. You got 3 assists coming from Barry Allen, followed up by 3 goals coming from Prosperity. That is some Shaq and Kobe passing, and I love to see it, especially in a twos match. A team that's not afraid to pass and share the sugar. We are just about done.
You're absolutely right. Those passing plays can be a little bit in short supply when it comes to a lot of these teams. So the Knights pulling it out in full force here. But the only concern that I have for them is that they seem to put a lot of their cards on the table here. And this is something that I often talk about. The Ducks kind of got a pretty good feel for their play style there and had a reasonable counterattack as well. They were able to counterplay it for a good amount of time, and they picked up their speed, their respect in basically every single situation, and they managed to put up a pretty good fight. So for the Knights, you can't really rest easy on this one.
I mean, you honestly shouldn't rest easy in any type of intense competition, but with that being said, I want to say that they were pretty evenly matched, like stats and everything included, and I love the pass plays I saw coming from the Knights, but also the Ducks were able to get a pass play of their own, and if you look at the shot count, it's really not too much of a difference. 4 shot count is a difference, and clearly that was you know, the overall benefactor for the Knights that got them the dub. But the Ducks were able to answer back in a major way, and now that the first game is out and they kind of got that warm-up feeling, I think we're going to see an even closer game come game number 2.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement with you there. I think that the Ducks just had a bad showing there in the first minute of gameplay, and they were a bit slow out of the gate. But now, it's going to be a much different situation. The Knights going to have to give them a lot more respect as we get underway with game number 2. The players, of course, eager to get on the field. So we'll leave all the talking for later down the line as we get started here. 5 fresh minutes on the clock. It'll be Swannings versus Prosperity on the kickoff, and it will go the way, well, at least it goes to the Ducks side. The first shot comes from Barry Allen, and that'll sneak through.
Yeah, but Barry Allen just completely activated Speed Force here, got up insanely quick, and was able to get over Eclipse and show him the dark side of the moon, as that one's going to go right behind him there. It's going to be a 1-0 lead again within the first 10 seconds of play. It's a 1-0 lead for the Knights.
The TC fan service right there is second to none. Okay, well done, my dear co. But this is very similar to what we saw in game number 1. The Knights taking the lead incredibly early on, but Eclipse wants to strike back, and he will indeed tie it up at 4:41.
This is absolutely insane. Back-to-back scoring so early, and I actually love seeing the high-scoring games because it's just so exhilarating to watch. And Eclipse answering that same speed that Barry Allen showed off of his goal, just going tit for tat so far, and not even 30 seconds have gone by.
Ooh, and that looked like a chance there for Eclipse, but didn't put it on target, didn't have enough boost for the double tap either. The Ducks coming out, oh my God! Are you kidding me? Eclipse comes through on the recurring rotation, activates ludicrous speed here, and gets right back to this play.
Yeah, Eclipse making Barry Allen look more like a reverse flash, just not fast enough, as Eclipse just popping off right now. The 2 back-to-back goals within mere seconds, and now momentum looking like it's heading towards the Ducks.
This is looking to be a high-scoring game here if we continue on this route. I think for the Knights' sake, I don't know if they want that, but they're going to try and make a statement here, get things back even. It's not going to work out there, as Prosperity is blocked up by Swannings. That is a strange touch back, but it works out as Barry Allen is not able to get back to the ball. Ducks playing a little bit defensive in that situation. They've certainly done a much better job of playing in that passive stance.
Yeah, I'm loving the turnaround switch-up coming from the Ducks and play styles. They're playing a lot more aggressive this game than they did in game number 1, and it's already proving beneficial for them as this ball goes back into the other half now for the Knights. Prosperity 2K gets the swish and flick over 1, but it's Eclipse with a follow-up and another save coming from Prosperity.
Yeah, a bit of a short shot chance there for Eclipse, but they really wanted the Ducks. Going in on the one opportunity they added, Swannings, no boost in the tank here, and his teammate bumped out of the net. Barry Allen ensuring that this one gets through.
And this is something that I was honestly waiting for, and I knew it was going to show its head eventually, the bump plays. We are now getting to the nitty-gritty. We are now getting to the devastation. Only thing that's left now is to start getting the demos. We are tied at 2. Let's get it popping off right now.
Tied at 2 and only 90 seconds off the clock. As I mentioned, it's looking to be a high-scoring game, and I think we are staying on that track. And oh my God, Barry Allen again with the speed right here. It really feels like a battle between Eclipse and Barry Allen because he just put this one on with such speed.
Beautiful shot right there. Being able to capitalize off the backboard pass, and it was a pass because Prosperity was able to pick up the assist for that one, but it's just so nice to see how quickly that one team can go from being down by 1 to being up by 1. The complete reverse turnaround is nothing to wave a stick at. It's just so nice to see, and how quickly it can happen, as this one's going to hit off the backboard now. Eclipse goes up nice and high. It's going to hit off the backboard. It's going to be no good.
You see Swannings trying to make the follow-up play as well. Was just a little bit behind the play, though. I think for both these teams, one of the big things to note is how quickly they're able to take a hit and keep going. I mean, it's been the story of this entire game so far. Even the Ducks in the last match kind of showed us a little bit of an example of how this was going to go, I think is the best way to say that, with their tenacity in the last game, getting back into it well and truly. And now the Knights and the Ducks, a real slugfest, to be honest, going back and forth and back and forth. And as we pass the half, the Knights are the ones that maintain the lead, and they're looking to move on to match point with a win here.
Yeah, and one thing that the Knights are carrying over from last game to this game are the pass plays, but this time it's Prosperity who's picking up more of the assists this game as he picks up 2, and it's Barry Allen with 1, but still, all of their shots and passes have led to a goal here, and that's going to be another one right there for Prosperity.
Yeah, unfortunate double commit here. You gotta admire the effort making this save. That certainly isn't one to be scoffed at. Nice play there, Eclipse. You got back to that one. It could have been a play of the week contender, but no dice. That one's going to find its way through. Prosperity 2K with a nice follow-up. Once again, making the punish on the defensive side for the Ducks. Now we find ourselves in the same spot as we did at the end of regulation last period. But still with 2 minutes on the clock here, the Ducks, they have been slowed down, but they haven't been brought to a halt yet.
Yep, and still plenty amount of time. If there's anything that I've learned from seeing these two teams play, it's that they can have a tremendous amount of scoring done in such a short amount of time. So this should be almost, I'm not going to say it shouldn't be no work, but it should definitely be, you know, feasible for the Ducks to pull off to come back and tie it up at 4.
Should be deep, but they got to start getting some passing plays started. That was not a particularly safe situation, but Swanings was able to keep control of Eclipse with the assist. Now he's going to try and drive this one downfield. Prosperity going to stop it out. Does get a bump against Barry Allen, though. That could complicate things. Pinch out to the mid. Eclipse might have to play this one passively. Small detour. Grabs the boost on the side. White in control of the ball. That one's going to be sent straight towards the net. He might have another shot chance. Going to try and go wide, but no luck. Prosperity has that angle blocked off. Well played on the defensive side as we approach the final minute.
Yeah, the Ducks have the right idea. Like, I liked how that pass play unfolded. It's all about the execution, though. Instead of going straight across the net, maybe try going off the backboard next time. At least that's how I saw it from my perspective. But the Ducks do have the right idea. Now they just got to drive it home. A nice touch in the middle from Prosperity as it's going to go out into the side. Barry Allen looking for something now, but not enough boost to execute. And it's going to be a beautiful dunk from Barry Allen going all the way back, Swattings. With the back pinch now goes back down to Barry Allen, and this is going to be turning into an offensive attempt from the Ducks.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Swaning's not quite quick enough to get back to that second man slot in the rotation. The Eclipse launched off the backboard, but Barry Allen not able to control his ball. We're in the final 30 seconds, but there's still time for the Ducks to do something here. Eclipse looking to be a bit low on boost. Can he make the play? No, not quite. There's a nice look at it away, and over top of the Swanning as well. That might just close us out, as this is going to be a huge time burner. Maybe even a shot on, but Eclipse gets it away.
Yeah, it's real. It's all but over but the crying, as that one's going to be on target. Eclipse is able to get the save, and they're just going to run this clock all the way down to 0, and that's going to be it. The Knights take game number 2.
Same scoreline. This kind of shocks me, to be honest. I think, what do we have, 3 or 4 goals in the first minute of gameplay? Maybe even 5, if I'm recalling correctly. But we still ended 4-2. With the Ducks once again getting outshot by a it's a somewhat significant margin, I suppose is what I'll say. 8-4 shots in total. It just feels like a weird pattern that I was not expecting to see.
Anything that just shows consistency. Like, I can understand, like, and definitely this time the shot differential is noticeable because the Knights were able to get double the amount of shots the Ducks were. But the one thing that I love to see more than anything in what is a perfect twos game, look at this. 2 assists, 2 goals apiece for each of the Knights players. Every single one of their goals came off of a pass play, and I've said it before, and I'll say it a million times more. It's the pass plays that win the games, and the Knights have absolutely executed on that on every front. They did it last game, they did it this game, and they're being extraordinarily consistent with their field awareness and being able to find each other, and just being able to pull that off consistently in twos is going to put you even further into the goals that you want to achieve, especially here in the MLE.
Yeah, and you say that something that should be noted as well is the Ducks, they are having a little bit of trouble trying to get those passing plays started up. We noted a couple of times where they did seem to, they wanted for it to happen, but it simply did not come together. So I think, to compound on your point, the Knights are doing what the Ducks have been unable to do all series long.
Yep, let's see if the Ducks can get something going here as we have a fast break play going all the way down. But it's going to be Prosperity 2K who gets back in time to get the save and clear it away.
A quick opener is what we wanted from the Ducks. At least the Knights aren't scoring at the very beginning, so a little bit of improvement there, if nothing else. Still saved away on what was a bit of an open net chance. So if you're a Ducks fan, that is unfortunate to see, but like I said, no goal against immediately, so you win some and you lose some, I suppose.
That's not the story of my life in Rocket League. Here we go, off the backboard again. A nice clear there, an opportunity maybe for Swattings as Eclipse goes towards the left side, but it's going to be a save for Barry Allen. As Barry Allen now takes control into the Ducks territory with a nice midfield pass. Here comes Prosperity, but it's going to be a clear for Swattings.
Oh, not able to get away from Barry Allen either. That's a double commit though, so at least there'll be a little bit of time bought here for Eclipse to make it back into his own defensive zone. Things have been dangerous here for a hot minute, I think. The Ducks aren't presently out shooting, but the Knights just feel so present with the way that they're playing. Prosperity and Barry Allen command such an aura of respect whenever they're even close to the play. It makes the Ducks a little bit timid, I feel.
Either that, or is they're just maybe respecting a little bit too much. You should always have respect for the opposition, but you don't want to over-respect as this one bangs off of 2 bars and finally finds the back of the net. What happened there?
Actually, it's ironic that you should say something about respect because both their players didn't want to go for that flick early because they knew that it could go over top of them with Barry Allen having such good control of that ball. But at that point, you got to be sending somebody. Just make that force challenge, make him flick it over top of the first man so the second can make that follow-up and get the free save. But they had a little bit too much respect for that play, and they didn't even send anybody until it was too late.
And it's one of those instances of too little too late. Do you respect or respect too much? Either way, it's going to be a 1-goal lead now for the Knights. And again, just carrying that momentum from the first 2 games, not being phased whatsoever, and still putting on quite the scoring show as Prosperity 2K puts his team up 2-0.
And they're looking to make this a complete 3-0 and take this series with them right here and now. A nice flick over top of one. And Eclipse not quite set to make it back at that second-man rotation. And again, you can't have those kinds of spots. Unfortunately, the Ducks caught out just trying to be a little bit more efficient than they could afford to be.
Look, this should be a nice play right here, but just barely off target and no pickup there in the midfield. That really felt like somewhat of a wasted opportunity. I know that I would be a little bit disappointed if I was on the Ducks team right now after that one. But another thing I want to say that I haven't seen much of are any demo plays. And I don't know if that's maybe because demoing isn't as meta in 2s as it is in 3s. But I feel like I should be seeing a little bit more of that. Maybe the Ducks should get a little bit more violent and try to be a little bit more Swan-like.
That may indeed be the case, but at the same time, you do have to make sure that you're not overcommitting. And again, the rotations are something that the Ducks have been having a little bit of trouble with here in this game. As they are actually just going to give this ball away. Prosperity over top of one. And hey, there's that demo play they were asking for. And Eclipse might even have a shot chance here. I think Swattings was getting in the way of Barry Allen, so that'll be a freebie.
Am I a sidekick? Am I predicting the future now? I feel like that's the second time I have asked for something, and so I had received. Thank you for the Ducks for answering what could have been the greatest question. Where are the demo plays? They're right here. And already we are back within 1, and this game is not nearly over yet. Still 2 minutes, and the Ducks only down by 1.
As they say, asking ye shall receive. So there you go, Captain. And we'll see if the Ducks can make good on this goal for. It looks like they might have a reasonable chance here. Eclipse couldn't get it over top of Barry Allen, but Swanning still nicely positioned back. But both of them going to leave this ball. Again, Prosperity granted so much space. Barry Allen threatening. That one goes on the sidewall again, and a misscoring chance for the Knights. But this is just another example of the Ducks simply not playing the ball in a way that I think is proper. They just kind of gave it away at some point and then weren't able to try and cut off any of the passing lanes.
Yeah, there was an error there in the rotation coming from the Knights, and it was a perfect opportunity for the Ducks to take advantage, and they just simply did it. And really, you can't let those opportunities fly by like that, especially when they've been so consistent on defense, not letting you score. But an opportunity now for Swattings, just off the top bar.
That hurts me a little bit on the inside. You know, my favorite plays are those clean double taps, and he had the angle so well set, but he only had 10 moves to work with after he made that initial touch, so unfortunately not able to get that angle. But I love the effort trying to make that solo play. And as you said, the passing plays can be all important in 2s, but there is still room for those individual heroics. Barry Allen, unfortunately, not able to pull that one out. It was a completely open net. The Ducks, with a little bit of a divine blessing there, it will get away completely unscathed from that defense, but they've only got 30 seconds to make a change here.
Yep, if they're going to do something, it has to be now, but a good look right now from Swattings, taking control in the midfield, but is running into Prosperity as Prosperity gets a nice touch, sending it back in the Ducks' direction. It's Eclipse now with a nice touch towards the midfield. Should have an opportunity here. Goes off the backboard, but Swatting will not be there as the defense prevails. And the clock ticks even further away as Eclipse has a passing opportunity for a player in the midfield. Swatting isn't going to hit it enough. And that will be it for the Knights. They take game number 3.
It's a 3-0, but it felt like it should have been closer. It felt like it should have been closer. The Ducks, especially in this game, put up a much better fight, but they could not make it happen. It felt like they always had the right idea, but they lacked the conviction to really make the play happen. And I think that that last instance was the best example of that, where we saw they started to drive downfield a little bit, sure, but they seemed to be unable to decide whether they wanted to pass it off the backboard or take a shot themselves. And I believe it was Eclipse who was driving at the time. And Swannings, again, when he realized that, hey, this play isn't going to work out, decided, I'm going to go for a bump. But didn't really have much of an idea of what he was going to do once he made that play. There was no follow-through. They've got to make sure that whatever they do it with conviction, and they make sure that it's executed properly.
Yeah, one thing I did like, though, is that unlike the first 3 sets of games, like, we can see that the shots and the assists are both pretty much even on both sides. As a matter of fact, Ducks, even though on the losing side, took more shots. What the difference was in this game was the saves. You had 4 saves coming from the Knights, 2 apiece for 2 for Prosperity and Barry Allen, and it just came down to the Ducks not being able to find a chink in the Knights' armor and being able to exploit it. The Knights was an absolutely defensive juggernaut in the net, and the Ducks just couldn't get past them.
Yeah, so for the Ducks right here, again, like we said, they had some really good ideas, but they just have to find that one opportunity and then really drive for it. So as we get underway here, they may have lost the series, but we can still go to that 5 games, and hey, that's a good way to start things. A mirror image of game number 1, except they're on top first.
Yeah, like we said in the beginning, every game counts. Even if you lose the series, you still have to try and do the absolute best you can in every game. And a good kickoff goal from Swattings. And there is some of that early scoring that we've seen in the first few sets of games. Just 5 seconds in, and it's already 1-0 in favor of the Ducks.
I think this makes actually 3 games out of the 4 that have been played now where there's been a goal within the first 10 seconds. So I guess kudos to both sides for having that mutual agreement to score early. I'm not really certain if that was actually a mutual agreement, but either way, the Ducks almost had another opportunity earlier on, I'm sure you saw, but didn't quite come together. They do control things, and I'm curious to see how they play with the lead, actually. This is a somewhat rare occasion. I think they've only had the lead one other time in this series, which was quickly taken away from them. It looked like they had a pretty good control there, but Swannings was taken out of the play. He'll have another shot here as he takes away from Prosperity.
Into the corner it goes. Swattings looking for a player in the middle, and a missed touch there. Unlikely of Prosperity to miss those, but indeed he did. Prosperity now finally picking up that save, just avoiding another goal lead there from the Ducks. As Prosperity now tries to get the swish and flick over Swatting, but it's going to be no good. Swatting now taking control in the midfield and is met by Barry Allen. Scoring opportunity maybe as it goes off the backboard. And they're just not going to find the back of the net. This one goes out to the side.
And once again, pulling away from the play there. Swatting's actually got a really good idea. Instead of trying to take an obvious shot and potentially missing past it back behind where the defender was placed to try and get Eclipse back into the play. But they decided to wave off the ball, which did become a direct detriment, but still feels like maybe they were giving up a little bit on that play. And once again, they have the lead, so if they win this game 1-0, who am I to say that they're wrong, but it still feels that they just simply do not have what it takes to stay in that end and keep the mental fortitude up.
It seems to me that the Ducks are really good at finding the opportunities and then giving themselves the opportunities to score, but they just haven't been finishing. Like, even though they are winning with a 1-0 score right now, I feel like they could have had 2, maybe even 3 goals at this point with some of the opportunities that have just gone by. Prosperity with a nice bump play, and it's going to lead to an even game off the goal from Barry Allen.
And a beautiful first challenge here from Prosperity as well. Not only did he make the pass and the bump, but he got it past the first player in that rotation. So the Ducks, both of their players in effect beaten by the same man. Very well done there by Prosperity. Of course, Barry Allen is there. He gets credit for the goal, but he's more of the janitor in that situation to tie things up.
pass into the middle, but maybe a little bit too much spinach on that one, just a little strong, as Eclipse couldn't get there in time to score the goal. Going back the other way is Swattings with a nice touch out into the corner, get some uplift on this one with the follow-up, maybe out towards the middle, and Eclipse just pressed a little bit too much towards the middle.
Yeah, unfortunate situation there. A good idea once again, though. As you mentioned, the passing play is ever important and ever prevalent in the twos arena. Swatting might actually get a shot chance here. A blitz for the follow-up, and that finds the upper 90. Seemingly out of nowhere, the Ducks grasp a goal from the clutches of defeat.
I'm not gonna lie, I did not see that going in at all or working out, but I'm so glad it did. Did you see the way Swattings came off the backboard, kind of like almost rolled over the defender and was able to get that second touch and just put it in the perfect spot for Eclipse. I absolutely love plays like that, and I'm only disappointed that the Ducks didn't break plays out like that way earlier into the series.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you there. I think that the passing plays have been looking pretty good, and especially Eclipse with that speed. That was one of the big things we talked about in game number 1, and I think a little bit of game number 2. Was that it really felt like Eclipse versus Barry Allen on who could be the faster player to the ball. And Eclipse certainly won the battle there, but we haven't really seen much of that outside of that one goal, and of course, like I mentioned, the previous couple of games.
Up on the back wall now is the Ducks, but they get an opportunity here with that booming clear going all the way down the field, and it's going to be saved by Prosperity.
And I say the follow-up for Eclipse almost there as well, but it does get narrowly away. The Knights avoiding disaster, and of course a nice rotation by Prosperity, but still not the place that you want to be in. Keeping those transitional passing plays is probably going to be one of your strongest areas, and Swatting's not able to make the save here. Prosperity up the corner to himself to tie things up.
This is one of those moments where it just feels so close, but yet so far away. Swattings had the touch and looked like he had the save, but it was not nearly close enough, as that one just dings right off the inside bar and rolls in. We are now tied at 2.
Sometimes the crossbar plays for you, sometimes it doesn't. I almost feel like there's a biblical statement that can go with that, but I'm just going to let it go for now. Under 70 seconds remaining. And a nice flick there by Swattings. He might actually be able to score this all by himself. No, he's going to need some help. And Eclipse, oh my God, skies that one way high and wide. And a huge missed scoring opportunity there for the Ducks. Hopefully that does not impact them mentally. And another shot coming across. Eclipse, nice save made. Will at least somewhat make up for that previous mistake.
I feel like the Ducks are going to have a meeting about that missed opportunity there, because there have been a couple that were questionable, but I think that one was almost inexcusable. They might have to have a meeting about that one, but it's Swatting just with 30 seconds now trying to get the pass out into the midfield. Eclipse does some... another questionable move there. I wasn't sure if he was going for it, if he was faking, or what, but Swatting's now with another opportunity is met by Prosperity. Eclipse with a nice kick out towards the middle, but Barry Allen is there to answer. Swatting's going up again. A nice hard touch off the backboard, and it's picked up by Prosperity, who's met by Eclipse. Going off the backboard again the last few seconds. A nice pass to the other side of the pitch. It's going to be a follow-up from Swatting, and they have the 1-goal lead with just 1 second left.
Oh my God, the Ducks, they were looking for the perfect opportunity to approach, and then with the one final second remaining on the clock, Swatting said, you know what, the opponent might be there, but there is very little risk in this play, and we've got to execute right now, if ever. Made the play, and they take game number 4. Very well done for the Ducks. They finally managed to put a tally on the score sheet, but as we mentioned, it is already a little bit too late to take the series. And they are already at 0-6, but they can get those couple of games back for tie-breaking purposes.
I really love about Rocket League the most. We've seen these two teams go back to back to back. We've seen every type of play that they could have pulled out so far, and no matter what, even in the last dying seconds of the match, in a game number 4, even though the series has already been won by the Knights, they can still get me hyped up when I see plays like that happen. That was just absolutely fun to watch, and I still can't get over it. The Ducks pulling out a win here is definitely put me in a better mood. I'm glad to see the Ducks turn it around and get a win on the board.
And as you say, we are going to pull a match highlight there. You can see it once more in all of its glory. The 1-second goal by Swatting. So well executed, as we mentioned. They just need to find that finish, and they finally did in the most clutch of moments. And we didn't really even talk about the shot count there, Captain Atsoka. 8 shots for Swatting's alone. 4 for Eclipse, totaling 12 compared to 5 from the Knights. It has really been a complete upward trend for the Ducks as the series has progressed, and now here at the end, it looks like they are ready to just basically start the steam train and barrel straight down the line at the Knights.
All right, and here we are. This is it. This is going to be game number 5. The Knights have 3, and the Ducks have 1. I can math, I swear. And a nice touch there by Barry Allen on the kickoff, but it finds Eclipse in the backfield, who's going to send this one towards the middle, and is met by Prosperity. Barry Allen there and waiting with the follow-up touch, going off the backboard again. And unlike the first couple of games, and even there in game number 4, there's going to be no early goals here, as we are just sitting there at 0, but I spoke too soon! Estes curse be me! I apologize to us.
I was about to say, I felt like a part of me was missing there, honestly, in this series with the Knights or the Ducks not having scored there in the opening couple of seconds, but I got it in the end, of course. Apparently, I'm the only one who appears to be happy about that one, as you so eloquently stated, you were kind of glad of the absence of that first opening goal. And there might be a second one here, as that was a wonderful aerial demo, but Prosperity can't quite find the angle. The Knights will not be extending their lead, but Eclipse might be getting it back here. He'll have to come across and make that save. Swattings looks for a follow-up, but it looks like it'll fall to the Knights once again.
Swattings now trying to get some air dribbling out in the midfield, but can't follow it up off the ceiling. It's going to go off the backboard now, and Eclipse with an impressive touch in the long clear all the way downfield is met by Prosperity. Prosperity now with the swish and flick out into the corner it goes, trying to get another one over. Swattings almost on target, but Swattings was there to avoid the danger.
Minute gone, but it still does feel like we have returned a little bit to what feels like the game 1 vibe here between the Knights and the Ducks. I almost think because the Ducks are playing a little bit more passive, but they have shown those couple of shot chances. That's going to be another one, but still easily turned away by Prosperity 2K. Once again, a lot of respect granted to him on the sideline as well. Swatty's going to have to make a save out of the back end here. Will be successful in doing so. The first 90 seconds have come and gone. 2 shots for either side. It might be a third one here. Nice double tap chance, and in. Prosperity 2K with the second goal of the game. Swattings wanted to get a comeback there, but unfortunately Prosperity, who has been doing phenomenally for the Knights, actually, let's talk about that real quick. It's been a pretty even game for both sides in terms of who's scoring, who's making the saves and whatnot, and that is an unfortunate miss for Swattings. But as I think you're saying it, I did want to call out Prosperity 2K, 2 goals and all 3 saves for his team. Alone this match, and another nice touch over there, pitching it over the top of his crossbar and keeping the Ducks away. Side here. I believe he may have technical issues with Captain, so we'll get him back as soon as possible because I know you want to hear his lovely voice. Good place of mine, but it looks like Eclipse actually going to get a freebie right here on target as we've just passed the half to bring things to 1-2.
Nice touch there coming from Eclipse, getting this one on target in just under 2 minutes and 30 seconds are now back with only 1. They have been in this position so many times, but now is the time to capitalize on it.
And welcome back. Thanks for not making those technical difficulties extended. Appreciate it. Love you. In any case, of course, and a huge shout out actually to our behind-the-scenes production team, Just Staying Alive, who was able to give us the heads-up notification, get us back on track. We'll talk about that later, though. We still got a game on our hands, and Barry Allen has got a nice dribble on his hands as the miss clear off the backboard opens an open net.
Yeah, Barry Allen, not so much alive on the scoring side, but now is showing off some offensive ability there. Nice touch off the backboard with the follow-up dribble, extending the lead to 2 with just 2 minutes and 10 seconds left on the board. The Ducks have got to answer back if they want to salvage just a little bit more momentum going into maybe their next series further down the line. And it's going to be a nice follow-up from Barry Allen there as this one goes back to Prosperity, dunked on by Eclipse. This one goes out towards the middle, and Barry Allen is there to clear it away.
A little bit of a double commit here, though. That might be a little bit dangerous as Swattings pass up to Eclipse off the backboard once again, but Prosperity is there for the cutoff. The consistent speed of play here for the Knights has really been the bane for the Ducks, and so far, it looks like it's going to keep them in the lead here in game number 5, as it made the save the last time around. 90 seconds now left, and Prosperity once again there for the cutoff, keeping Swattings out of the play.
Yeah, I love the midfield passing that the Knights have been doing all night long. They've just been so good at finding each other, and even if it doesn't lead up to a huge score, which Prosperity apparently can just do that himself, it's still just good to see the field awareness and being able to maintain control of the ball.
I think Prosperity really has been doing well in this particular game, if not the entire series. Once again, I called him out for having, well, some goals and some saves. He's improved that record since to 3 goals and 4 saves on 4 shots. So his MVP are looking pretty good for game number 5, totaling 800 in score at the moment. Plenty of time still left on the clock, so they might be just padding the stats, going for a victory lap. The Ducks might need to reevaluate and, as you said, look forward to week number 6 to try and start to make a little bit of a comeback. But I can't help but feel that their playoff contention might have ended here tonight.
It's unfortunate, but then again, just with everything else, and especially in Rocket League, you have to look at this as a learning experience. Go back, watch your replay, see what you did wrong, see what you did right, and learn from it, and then come back and improve. And that's exactly what this is all about. And I honestly think that this will be all for the better for the Ducks. Whether, you know, they make the playoff contention or not, it's still going to be a learning experience and something that they can improve on.
I certainly hope so, as the final 30-second buzzer will sound, and I think once again, Knights just going to be going for a little bit of a victory lap here, as it looks like they're poised to take the series 4-1, replicating what we see on the scoreboard up there. Although the Ducks scoring would cause us to have 3-4-2 matches, so honestly, I'm kind of rooting for them to take a goal home here at the very end. Eclipse with a nice 50-50, but Prosperity picks it up, sends it way up high. Nobody's in the zone. He'll send it towards the net, and Swattings now for the pickup. Might be demoed here. It will touch the floor. Knights, a solid series with many, many great victories.
Yeah, the Knights were just showing off their consistency because, just absolutely insane field awareness. Even though this time, clear MVP going to Prosperity, they still have been consistent throughout the entire night, being able to find each other, being able to find the passes, and just being consistent through every single game. They only went down 1 throughout all the 5 games that we saw, but just being able to just maintain that. Even going into game 5, coming off the loss from the Ducks, they didn't let it phase them. They just kept playing their game, and they managed to take yet another win in game number 5.
Yep, so the Knights looking pretty hot there. Their overall record was 11-14 prior to this series, so that'll boost their record to 15-15. They're tied up there, and they are 3-3 on series. Wait a second. 15-15 overall, 3-3 on series. They're perfectly average. That's an interesting one. So I guess the more you know. But again, like we said for the Ducks, not as good for them, unfortunately. They, I think, might be out of the contention for the playoffs, as we mentioned. Very unfortunate to see, but that's the way it goes sometimes.
One thing I have to say to the benefit of the Ducks is that they didn't go down looking. They definitely went down swinging. They put up an impressive fight throughout the entire series. Whenever they lost, they didn't lose by a wide margin. I mean, a little bit wider towards game number 5, but they still answered back every single time and even was able to put a win up on the board. So I gotta say, even though it was a tough loss, it was still an impressive show out from the Ducks.
Yep, all credit to them, and an unfortunate loss, but the Knights going to go out there and rest on their laurels for now, because we do have one more match for you, and guess what? It is Knights and Ducks. We're moving down to the Academy League for that next match. We're going to go ahead and take a short break as we get that set up. Will the Ducks be able to avenge their fallen comrades? Find out next year on Minor League Esports.